Hello everyone, Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So today we're going to be working on a postural adaptation that I have seen a lot of people with, and a lot of folks feel as though it affects their self-confidence. And that is a posture that is adopted when your head is too far forward. This can be a result of staring at a computer screen, looking down at your phone a lot, reading a lot. However, what happens is when your head is too far forward, your neck almost adopts this little hump at the base of your neck in order to support that posture because the head is so heavy. So what we're going to work on is correcting that. It is absolutely something that can be reversed. However, the key is to work on that, the exercises presented here, and we might do another set of these, but to work on them with consistency, because if you think about the time you spend with that posture, that head forward posture, whether that is during your workday, during your downtime when you're on your phone, think about the hours that you put towards strengthening that head forward posture. And you're gonna wanna think about bringing in some consistency, perhaps working with this video every day for a while and just see the difference that it can make. So consistency can be key, and we'll go over some of these and you can use them to break up your workday, after your workday, whenever you have some downtime to focus on your posture. Okay, so I'm gonna go over these movements standing up. However, you're more than welcome to take these movements that I'm gonna be showing you lying down. So you can lie down on a mat and do these same movements. I'm gonna show them to you standing up because it's gonna be easier for you to see them and then take them lying down. You can also use them sitting up against a wall. The wall and the mat are going to be really good feedback to indicate where your shoulders might be rounding forward, where your elbows may be taking you forward as well. So the wall and the mat give you a little extra accountability. So I'm going to take a step back and we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to bring forward here is our correct posture that we want to strengthen. So whether you're sitting down, whether you're lying down, I want you to think about your heart being slightly lifted. So as if your heart is on a little string up towards the ceiling, and you can take this orientation however you're sitting or lying down. And so it's not so much of popping the ribs out as just a gentle lift up, and then your throat wants to live slightly behind your heart space. So a nice straight line down from the crown of the head all the way down to your feet. And so from the waist up, this is kind of the posture that we're going to be strengthening here. So in addition, I want you to think about your shoulders down and away from your ears, as well as your sternum being heavy. So I know that's a lot to put together, but let's just go with it and layer on what you feel like you're able to do. So we're gonna go over these movements. You're welcome to take a look at them and then apply them to lying down or sitting up. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're gonna bring our arms kind of a little right angle here. And then we're gonna bring those elbows out. So you're gonna wanna have your shoulders and your elbows right up against the mat or the wall. And so the first thing we're gonna do is just gently squeeze those elbows into the mat or into the wall, but without lifting those shoulders, without popping out the chest. So let's take a couple of these, just gently squeezing those shoulder blades together and then releasing, squeezing those shoulder blades together and then releasing, really allowing the feedback of the wall or the feedback of the mat to help you feel into where your posture wants to change. And so let that just be a little bit of a gentle accountability for you here. So we're gonna do about 15 of these. You're welcome to do more or less depending on what you feel you're able to do today in this moment in your body. But this is just a benchmark of what we want to do in order to neutralize that head forward posture that's been adopted all day long. So gently squeezing and releasing, shoulder blades coming together and gliding down the back. And releasing. And you should feel this. You should feel this in your upper back. We're really strengthening the muscles back there so they can do a little bit more of a good job holding things together, allowing you to remember to hold your head on top of your spine. So we want to really put this into our muscle memory. We're gonna do a couple more here, nice squeezing those elbows into the mat, shoulder blades together, shoulders down, and sternum heavy. 5 more. And now, while you're doing this, it can be very easy to begin to let those elbows drop. See if you can keep them in that nice right angle the whole time. Last one. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, perhaps allowing those shoulder blades to glide down the back, and then you can rest. So let your arms rest for just a moment, shake them out. You might be feeling your triceps, you might be feeling those muscles in your upper back, but that is all good stuff that we're using to strengthen the posture that we want. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our arms right back up to where they were, creating our little goalpost. Okay, so we're gonna start with our arms, fingertips towards the ceiling or out in front of you, depending on what your orientation is right now. We're gonna then bend into our goalpost arms, create a little thumbs up here, and then those thumbs are gonna come right back to touch the wall behind you, the mat behind you, while keeping your shoulders and elbows against the mat or the wall. Back to the starting point, palms out, and lift those arms back up. So let's take this again. Allowing that wall and the mat to be your accountability here. Bringing in your thumbs up and taking it back. All the while we're doing this, remembering to breathe. It can be so easy to hold your breath while you focus. But breathing can help us build a dynamic stability instead of a very static and rigid stability. So finding that breath behind the rib cage, so filling that back of the body. So we're doing about 15 of these as well. Really wanting to feel those muscles start to activate. So right about, maybe you'll be feeling it before, but I'm certainly feeling this now. Thumbs up, taking it back, making sure you keep those elbows lifted. Got your right angles. Flat palms. And taking it back. And so when you first start these movements, it can be a good idea to start them lying down so you really have that full feedback of the mat behind you. You can then graduate to doing it against a wall. And you can see which you prefer, see which gives you that accountability that you need. So we're going to take 5 more here. If you need to just micro adjust your posture here, making sure that Heart stays slightly lifted, throat behind the heart. Shoulder blades are really coming together and gliding down the back. Four more. Thumbs up. Three more. Last two. Taking your time, only going as fast as you can maintain that posture. And resting those arms down. So give yourself a little shake out. And so from here, we're just gonna go through a little bit of a stretch. That can be a very intense muscle activation, perhaps in ways we're not used to, right? Because we're reversing the posture that we normally carry. So let's do a little stretch here. I'm gonna have you, you can either stay seated or you can stand up, but this won't translate very well to lying down. So I would select one or the other there. And we're just gonna bring one arm out to the side. And I want you to feel into where you feel the most stretch here. So maybe you need to lift that arm up, maybe you need to take it forward, or maybe you need to take it slightly behind you to really find that whole stretch almost from the bottom of your ear all the way down to your fingertips. So when you do find that, go ahead and spread your hand wide, reach through all your fingertips, continue to let that shoulder drop and stay down. And then you're gonna take that ear towards that stretched out arm. Give yourself a little extra reach as you drop that shoulder once again. Perhaps taking a nice deep breath into the back of your rib cage. And then we're gonna bring your ear towards the opposite shoulder. So leaning into that stretch here as you breathe, and then we're gonna make little head circles here, keeping your ear towards that opposite shoulder. And reversing. Head back up. Find your little reach. Drop your shoulder if you need to. And we're going to rotate the head to look at the hand, keeping your posture. So keep that lift of the heart, throat slightly behind the heart space. And then we're going to rotate again to look away from your hand. Breathing into the back of the rib cage. And then head comes back to center. Dropping that arm, perhaps feeling the difference in between those two sides. And let's take this to the other side. So again, let's treat this as its own unique experience because the sides of the body are never going to feel exactly the same, right? So let's bring that arm out, finding where that stretch feels the most significant. So you may need to raise that arm up, bring it out in front of you or a little bit behind. And so when you find that almost back of the ear towards the fingertips, give that palm a nice spread, reaching through all those fingertips. And let's bring your ear towards that shoulder, deepening that reach, dropping that shoulder, breathing through the back of the rib cage. And then we'll take your ear towards the opposite shoulder here. Breathing again. And then we'll take those little head circles here. Keeping that posture. And reversing those little circles. Head back to center. Find that posture again if you lost it. Throat slightly behind the heart. And we're gonna rotate the head to look at your hand. Deepen that reach, drop your shoulder, breathing into the back of the rib cage. And then keeping that posture, again, we're going to just look away from the hand. Nice deep breath into the back of the rib cage. and head back to center. Letting that arm drop. You can give yourself a little pat on the back for doing this for today. And again, I would recommend that you take these exercises every day for a while. See if you notice a difference in the way your spine looks, in the way your posture looks, and in the way that you feel. So your confidence as well. I know that when folks have adopted that posture, it can affect their confidence to some degree. So yeah, feel into it. I hope you find this supportive, and I'll see you back here next time on the Y's YouTube channel. Take care.